Okay, so when we're talking about sexual abuse, what we're talking about, sexual abuse is also known as molestation, and it's forcing undesired sexual behavior on another person. One person, which is usually the older one, the adult, older child, forcing undesired sexual behavior on another child. And so when we're looking at child sexual abuse, we are saying an adult is forcing or engaging in sexual activities, undesired sexual activities with a child. Sexual abuse can be touching or non-touching. Now, when we're talking about the touching, we are saying this individual is putting their hand in the child's genitalias or putting their own private part into the child's genitalias, or you are allowing the child to begin to touch your own genitalias, or playing sexual games with a child. And then again, when we have the non-touching, now has to do with exposing the child to pornography. You are allowing the child to now take pictures in a very sexual provocative manner. You're allowing the child to hear audio or listen or watch things that have sexual tones of a child, or undressing in front of a child. And there are lots of myths when we talk about sexual abuse. Usually people believe that only pretty girls are abused. People also believe that it can't even happen around them. People believe that it's strangers that abuses, or maybe some of the strangers are very, very old, haggard, dirty looking, and the only female childs, and it's only men that rape children. But then we have known and we have found out from what have happened, experiences, cases that had come, that really it's not only just a female child that is abused. A male child is also abused. There are lots of cases, significantly, there are significant cases of male child that is being sexually molested. It's just that a whole lot of times it's a female child that gets to report more. Sometimes for some of the cases I have seen about male children, they would even tell you that I didn't even know that what was happening at that time was sexual abuse. They just know that the auntie was touching them, or the auntie was asking them to touch their own genitalias, or and it was rubbing themselves on them and other things like that. And 90% of perpetrators are known. They are not strangers. They are family members, they are friends, they are uncles, they are aunties, they are people that are really, really known to the child. And then people who actually commit this sexual abuse act, they are people, they are nice. Most times they start by buying sweets, chewing gum, and a whole lot of other things for the child. They make the child, oh, come, uncle is here, auntie is here. And so they make the child feel very, very comfortable, relaxed with them. And then they now begin to perpetrate those acts. So sometimes it's very subtle. They come in a very subtle manner. The approach is very, very subtle. And then they now begin to take advantage of the child. And it can happen to any child. In recent times, because we have more people now reporting, it's allowing a whole lot of people to understand that what we are talking about is really significant, and it's happening a whole lot more than we even think it's possible. It's virtually going on all around us, but because we didn't used to talk about it before now, a whole lot of times we didn't even know that it was going on. And so who are the people that abuse this? Father, mother, uncle, brother. I have managed cases where it's between father and the child. There was one that was very traumatizing when this child the mother left for school, 7 years old, and the father took advantage of that and was molesting the child for years. This child couldn't talk about it until she was 14. And that was after so much plea by the mom, because the mom noticed there was something going on, but there was just no way for her to be able to get through to the child. And usually that's one thing. People who are sexually molested don't talk about it. They really don't open up, because it's not something that is hurtful of. No, it's not something that people want to really basically talk about. So 30% are relative, father, mothers, uncles, and cousins. 60% are mere acquaintances, family, friends, a woman, brother, child here. And the person who molested the child, the boy, was our own friend, our best friend. As a matter of fact, he was always taking these children to her home, sometimes when she's at work and other things like that. And this woman took advantage of that situation and was molesting this child. Then 10% are strangers. And so when you look at these, it says 90% of people who molest are actually known to people. And so this myth about strangers, it's not retail set, it's just about strangers. Family members does this more than even strangers actually, because sometimes they had to build rapport and relationship with some of this, and that's why we must watch out for uncles that becomes overly too friendly. I'm sorry, but then it's looking like we all just have to be more careful out there with people that's around us. And so what are the risk factors? We talk about age. Because they are children, it makes them more vulnerable. It makes them more exposed to all of those things. They're children, they can protect themselves. They're children, they can talk, they can fight, they can defend themselves. And so it makes them more vulnerable to all of those things. People take advantage. And the female gender has also been found to be more prone to abuse than the male gender. Reasons best known, I can't know, but female child tends to be more attractive in court than there. So most times it happens more to the female than to the male. Then again, children who have disabilities, one form of disability or the other, especially when it talks about intellectual disability in terms of reasoning and other things like that, they are usually taking advantage of. The perpetrator knows that the child won't report or can't even report, as the situation may be. And then again, when children have to go from multiple caretaker to the other, from one home, one auntie, one brother, one uncle, where you just keep, I want my child to stay with you today, and other things like that. Then again, the presence of stepfather too has been found to be another huge risk factor. I am not saying all stepfathers are like that, but we have seen lots and lots of cases where it's the stepfather, the presence of the stepfather in that home that also exposes a child to sexual abuse. And then when parents in courts are using psychoactive substance, it changes their judgment, it changes their reasoning, and so the child becomes also a victim to such parents. So what are those things that you need to watch out for? Yes, quite a lot of children don't talk, but then there are behavioral signs that you would notice that would help you to know that there is a problem in a child that is usually very friendly, a child that is usually active, outgoing, can talk freely. When everybody comes to the family, she's always up and doing and very active. This child now becomes withdrawn. That's the number one sign. This child becomes withdrawn because she's afraid. The experience has traumatized the child, and this child can't function as maximum level as he or she wants to again. And so most times they become withdrawn. Some become clingy. So if you're going anywhere, they tell you, I don't want to stay, I don't want to stay, I don't want to stay. And this person had always been staying with uncle at home or auntie at home. But this child is saying, no, I don't want to stay. It is a cause sign. Then a child, sometimes they start having nightmare. For some children, they regress, they start bedwetting, and a whole lot of other behaviors and other things like that for all of them. Some sudden personality changes. They are no longer, they become harsh. They are not even paying attention in school. This child is an A student, no longer passing, no longer doing well as you want them to be. Outbursts of anger and quite a whole lot of other things that it's most likely that we can see there. Some children also become to self-harm. They cut themselves as a way of dealing with the pressure, the emotional distress that they are having at that particular point in time. So what are the effects? I remember being sexually abused as a child. It was traumatizing. I couldn't tell anybody. I couldn't share. But I knew that I had this shame, this sense of shame. It was like my body was dirty. Virtually everything around me I was like, everybody was looking at me. Everybody was looking at me as a bad girl, as a dirty person, that I had done something. It took me years to get out of it, to understand that I wasn't the one that did it. It was somebody that did it for me, and I was not even dirty. It took years of help to be able to get out of that. So a whole lot of time they feel shame, they self-blame, they start blaming themselves. And that's why it's also very important when people go through all of these things, we don't start adding up to why did you go there, because this other individual is also already going through that blame itself. They feel depressed, they feel anxious. A lot of them I had low self-esteem for years. I didn't even see myself as being anybody. I didn't see myself as being able to function or being able to move on with life. A whole lot of them had relationship problem. They can't make friends, they can't even interact as appropriately as possible. And then another major problem or major effect that you will see is some of them now become very promiscuous because they had been abused. Then there's this tendency for them over and over again to now begin to link out with people to abuse them. No, they just begin to seek out that act. They go after boys or go after girls. Some of them go into pornography really and begin to masturbate on a high level because of the effects of what had happened or what had been done to them. And then some also, other people also becomes to re-victimize other people. And so because they had been abused, they also tend to now abuse other people. So what can you do as parent? How can you minimize this? One, we have to be available for them. We can't be there 24/7, we know that, but we have to create time for them. We have to have an open door. Let them be able to come and talk with us. Make them understand that you are the friend and you want to listen to everything that they have to say. Make them understand that you are interested in every activity that goes on in their daily life. Their daily schedule, what happened in school, what this and that. Let them know. Operate an open door policy. Let them be able to talk to them. Please understand that there is boundary. Help them to understand there are certain places some people cannot touch in your body. There are certain places that people cannot touch. Create boundary, even among themselves. Boys, girls at home, let them understand that there are secret parts that must be kept secret. They must be covered up. And then we must also be familiar with the warning signs. And if a child had been abused, what can you do? Usually children don't come. We don't come because we are afraid we will be judged. We are afraid we will not be believed. We are afraid we will be talked down on. And so because of that, children will not even want to come and talk about all of those things. So when they come, please listen. When you observe the warning sign, please don't shout at them. Don't make it look like, oh, if you don't tell me, then hell will fall. No, hell is not falling anywhere. That would even make them to close up the more. Find a way to allow them to open up. If they cannot open up to you, find people around. Find someone who can help you to talk with them. That would also help you to be able to get to them. And then when they say it, don't say, it's not possible. That singular word scatters everything. They won't open up again. They won't tell you again. Because they would always remember your first reaction. So don't tell them it's not possible. It can't happen. Oh, I have heard you. Okay, can you repeat it? Even if you're trying to process it, can you repeat what you have just said? I need to just understand how it happened. If there are gaps in their story, please don't force them to begin to. There are some things that they want to block. There are some things that they don't want to talk about at that point in time. It's really traumatizing for them. Just listen to the ones that they want to talk about, and then you're able to move on from them. And if it had happened again, maybe way back before they told you, then please get help. There are lots of clinical psychologists out there who can help. I got help, and that's part of why I am doing this for a whole lot of people. Get help for them. Let them be able to talk about it. Let them be able to get up. It's traumatizing. It's not an experience that people will just wash away like that. No, you don't wash that away. It's really traumatizing for a whole lot of people to be able to deal with. So please get help for them. And if it's happening right here and now, the child is reporting, or it just happened, please get them to the police station. Report it immediately, and then you will take them to the hospital where they will be cleaned, they will be assessed and every other thing, and then you will now get help for them psychologically to help them deal with it, and then to be able to see how they can better manage it. Thank you so much for listening.